Hi, welcome back to the workshop for episode 18 of the Great Guitar Build Off 2022. And in this episode, I'm going to start work on the back of the guitar. Right, so it's time to get a start on this material for the back. And I cut it a few days ago and I've left it just to see if it moves any. Now, there has been a slight little bit of cupping in it, but it's not very much. It's probably about 0.5 to 1 millimeter. So it's not terrible, but we'll have to get it out before we go any further with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach them to this kind of stout bit of flat board with some super glue and masking tape and use that as a sled to run them through the planer, and I'll kind of clean one side up, and then once we've got a flat side on there we can use that to reference and clean the other side up and take it down to thickness. These need to be 6mm, they're probably about 8 or 9 mil at the moment, so we've got a little bit of material to take off there, but I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine. Right, out with the super glue and masking tape again. Right, so this is ready to go. We'll get this fired up, make a load of noise and a load of dust. Okay, so that's the first one done. I've measured that. And it's just a tad over 6mm, which is what I want because I want to leave a little bit of material for sanding and stuff. So I'm going to get this one off the board and do exactly the same with the other one. I won't film it because it's just noise and dust and horribleness, but I'll be back with you in a few minutes when I've done that. Okay, so there's my two bits, cut to size and thinned down. They've taken on a little bit of a bow, but in material this size it's not really a big deal. That will soon kind of press down as soon as you get any clamping pressure on it while you're putting it on the body. So the next step is to get these ready for glue up, and you might be able to see there's a big gap in the middle there, so they're not straight, but there's actually a really quick and easy method of getting a really nice glue joint on thin material like this, because it's very difficult to measure if that edge is square or not. It's just not thick enough to get a really accurate reading. But what you can do, this is what I've done a number of times and it's always worked for me, is if you fold them up like that and then reverse one of the pieces, and I'm going to put a little mark on it so I remember that's the one I've done. All I need to do now is get them into the vise and plane them straight, because regardless of what angle I plane onto them, when I turn that back round and lay them flat, regardless of what the two angles are on the bits of wood, they will add up to 180 degrees, which will give us a flat board. Okay, so we'll get these in the vise and get the plane out. Okay, so we're ready to glue this up now. Well, almost. Because this, after all, is the Great Guitar Build Off, and the Great Guitar Build Off is the brainchild of His Grace Ben Crowe. So I thought I'd include a little nod to Ben, a homage, if you will, into this build. You see, Ben's always going on about the importance of the centerline I've heard him say it 1,000 times, and it's right, and it's true. It is very, very important in the construction of a guitar. So I'm going to give this guitar a permanent centre line as a little nod to Ben and a little thank you for all the knowledge that he's given me over the years. So what I'm going to do is I've got me some black veneer, and I'm going to cut a little stripe of this, and that is going to go in between the two halves of the back, and it is also going to go into the joins of the body. Admittedly, you probably won't see much of that one because it's all going to get cut away for the neck pocket, but it will be visible on the back. And then it's going to run right the way through the centre of the neck as well. Obviously it's not going to be on the top because we've already done that, but it will be visible throughout the rest of the guitar. So very quickly before I glue this up, I'll cut a little sliver of the veneer and we can get going. And to apply the clamping pressure for this top glue up, I've made this little jig. And what I've done is I've just laid some kind of thin bits of scrap down the centre of this, put the first piece of wood in, put some pins in at the side of it to hold it in place, and then I've inserted the second one and inserted a row of pins at the side of there. So then when we take those out, it's actually just a little bit too small for these to go in, so you need to push them down, and that is all we need to get that clamping pressure to get a good glue joint. And once we've got some glue on, I've got some stout bits of timber there to go on, and then we just need to apply something heavy to the top of this just to hold it all down and in place. Okay, let's get the glue out. Okay, that was the heaviest thing I could find. So we'll just leave that now for a couple of hours for the glue to dry up. Okay, so that's had a couple of hours now, so we can get this weight off it, get it out of the jig and see how we've done. Okay, so that seems to have gone together really nicely. I'm just going to get a nice sharp chisel and start to just work down some of this veneer. And there we have the kind of very roughly finished back. It needs a lot more cleaning up, but I think you get the effect. And that's left a nice little, kind of less than a millimetre little stripe down the back, which I think is going to look very, very nice. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to leave this episode here. I don't have a recommendation for this video, so keep them suggestions coming in. If I've missed any, just give me a nudge, because I've had a lot of comments and stuff to deal with for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to be back tomorrow when we'll drop back onto the top and start to get that finished off. So until then, as always, like if you've liked, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.